Welcome. I hope you enjoy the conversation you're about to hear between me and another comedian regarding comedy and religion. These are conversations I'm calling disorganized religion. God bless, and for those atheists out there, may nothing await you after this life.
Welcome to another episode of Disorganized Religion. I'm your host, as always, Seth Lawrence. We got the disembodied voice of Travis Clyburn.
I'm just going to do shotgun sounds for my intro. I'm so sorry that was so
Thank
loud.
God I had him lower the volume.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
I had that up a little loud. My bad.
He usually goes with something semi-blasphemous.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of blasphemous.
I'm down with the shotgun.
Yeah, I like Elder Lawrence, That's my favorite go-to.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one. I'm very excited for our guest today. It's very rare that I try to have people on that I like to talk to or that I think would have.
Today's the exception, folks.
Today's the exception. Or that I think would have a very interesting view on religion today. I have both. And Michael Regilio. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Pleasure to be here.
So I want to talk to you. How long have you been doing comedy?
We're going to hit the 7-year mark in April.
7 years.
Yeah.
Break a mirror? That's the bad luck one.
Oh, well,
Or is
that would
there
explain the year I'm having.
Yeah. Is that right?
No, I'm having a great year. I'm
Yeah,
having a great year.
you seem
I'm
to be
having a
doing
great-
well.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
you're-
enjoying it. I was just making a joke there. Because, once you're 7 years in, Seth, you're allowed to make jokes.
Is that the way it
Willy-nilly.
works?
Willy-nilly. Whatever you want.
Just off the cuff like that?
Yeah, they let you.
I can't wait to get to your level.
Don't try right now. You're not there. How far in are you?
A little over 2.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
baby,
Fresh and
coming,
fresh.
baby coming.
Yeah. We might be in over our head tonight.
I call you
We'll see what
Sethy
happens.
Fresh from now on.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness. And where did you start?
Silver Lake, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started off as a musician.
Yeah.
I was playing in rock bands, and
Instrument, you play guitar,
I
right?
played the guitar. I went to the Berklee College of Music, and I take it very seriously. Still do.
Yeah.
And around the time that the second band got a record deal, got a management deal, everything went right, and then everything went wrong. And I was doing, a rigor mortis or a post-mortem, I guess would be the word. Trying to figure out what went wrong. A friend called me up and said, hey, for your birthday, I signed you up for stand-up comedy classes.
No kidding.
And I said, not interested. He said, no, you're really funny. It'll be good. And I said, not interested. And he said, I already paid, and they start tomorrow night.
So you're going.
You're going.
Yeah.
So I went, and the first time I got up, people laughed, and I said, okay, well, I'll come back to this next week then, won't I? And
Yeah.
I just kept going, and it went really well in the class. So I said, I'm going to try an open mic, and I went to that, and it didn't go really well. In fact, it went really, really bad.
Is that right?
Really, really bad.
What open mic did you go to?
Yeah.
I went to Echoes Under Sunset.
Ooh, okay. Isn't that still kind of around? But like
No. Now it's called Echoes on Pico, but it moved altogether.
right,
I mean,
right.
the actual club I went to is not around in any way, shape, or form anymore. Which may actually have been 6 years ago. I might have given myself an extra year there.
Oh, well.
Maybe. Anyway.
Some people do that.
Yeah.
You're entitled
Well, I want
to it.
people to think of me as a more serious comic. That's
Right.
why I did it.
Right.
And I got up and I had a little, had a little swagger.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
You've been doing a class.
I've been doing a class
Yeah,
for
Flappers
for
University.
30 days.
Yeah.
I have 4 stand-up comedy classes under my belt, and my teacher told me I'm great. So bam.
Where was this that you did the class?
I did the class with a teacher named Judith Shelton, and
okay.
she teaches in Atwater Village, out of an art studio that at night they let her teach a stand-up comedy class. A bunch of people on the scene have taken classes with her.
Yeah.
And so I got on stage with that swagger, knowing
Yeah.
that my material was hot
and ready.
I knew what a tag was.
Yeah.
I knew what
Nice.
a callback was.
Right.
I knew that if somebody laughed in the audience, look to the laugh, look at them, acknowledge they laughed. These were the things they teach you in
Interesting.
class.
Ah.
And first
right.
joke, flat as hell. Second joke goes really bad.
Yeah.
Third joke, a girl audibly says, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, what are you doing?" At this point, I noticed that I'm starting to shake. Leg is shaking,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
starting to shake
You
a
feeling
little
hot?
bit. Yeah, feeling a little bit hot.
getting
Yeah.
that cortisol levels up.
Yeah, and I bombed like a mofo.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'm going to play it cool. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to watch a few more comics. And one guy got up and he was kind of funny. And I saw him outside as I was leaving.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Hey, you were a really funny guy." And I'll never forget, he said to me, "You were a guy."
Oh my God.
I was like, fuck comics. Fuck comedy.
What the
I don't
heck?
want to do this. I'm over this. This is Absolute garbage. I'm over it. And as I was driving home, I said, I know me.
Yeah.
If I go home, I will never try stand-up again.
Yeah.
And so I went on the app on the phone that tells you where the open mics are, and I drove to another open mic.
Good for you.
And I got up, 2 titters, not quite laughs, but that was a 3 billion% improvement from the last set. I was like, I'll sleep tonight. I got 2 titters.
Wow.
Could you remember any of your the jokes you told for that first open mic?
I could, and I won't share them with you.
Really,
because they're so good that I'm saving them for the Netflix special.
Yeah.
I don't even tell them now.
Jokes.
I don't even tell them now because I don't want some hack comic like
right, like me,
like
over
you,
here.
who's stealing these quality jokes about porno. Had a porno joke,
Excellent.
and that was it was like my first week of doing stand up that I made a rule to myself after like the 50th comic got up and was like, let's talk about porno. I was like, you know what? I don't think I'll ever tell another porno joke. I threw the porno joke away right. I thought it was being edgy and like original.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about real shit.
Yeah.
And then I went to an open mic. I was like, oh, it's all porno all the time. Okay, I get it.
I love watching. That was my favorite thing about working at Fourth Wall. Watching the first like week comics realize that nothing they're saying is original at all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like, what? You guys don't talk about dicks all the time? Oh, my bad.
Dating's not a.
Dating
I
in LA,
thought I
it's
was
hard.
the only one.
So there was that. And
Gotcha.
I did it for about 2 years, very, very unsuccessfully. Very, very unsuccessfully. Like all on the East Side. And if you guys don't know, East Side comics are douchey, very douchey.
Yeah.
It's like a douchey scene, a
Interesting.
douchey vibe, which is funny because I was an East Side musician for 15 years.
Different scene.
And cool.
Yeah.
Like you want to be an East Side musician. Those are the cool musicians. You don't want to be a West Side musician. Those are douchebags playing at fucking the whiskey with spiked gel in their hair and shit like that. Yeah. So no. The East Side musicians were cool, but no, the East Side comics were too cool for school.
Yeah.
Like they didn't like jokes. Like what is this guy doing with these setups and punchlines? Get him out of here. And
Who does he think he is?
yeah, honest to goodness, this is true. I said to myself, you know what? After it was maybe a year and a half, close to 2 years though, I believe, that I said to myself, you know what? I think I tried this and I don't think it's going very well. I don't think I'm very funny. I thought I was funny. Everyone thought I was funny. I heard it from a lot of people. I'm not talking about my stand-up. I'm talking about me, the person in my life. Through the years leading up to trying stand-up, people were always like, you're really funny. You should try stand-up. And I felt I was encouraged by that. And 2 years into comedy, I was like, you know what? I think that everyone was wrong. Maybe it's just a different thing, telling jokes on stage. Maybe it doesn't translate, just being funny in real life. And I think I'm going to do it for like another week, and I think I'm going to hang it up.
Yeah.
And I manage the Mustard Seed Cafe on Hillhurst Avenue in Los Angeles, California. And a young man by the name of Pat Reagan comes in one day, who's a comic, and he says to me, hey, do you like Bill Burr? I said, yeah, I like Bill Burr. He goes, well, we're having him on our show at the Comedy Store tonight. You should come on down. I said, I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Way to go out.
Yeah.
I'm quitting comedy anyway. I'll go watch Bill Burr. Wait, cap this thing off. And he said, I thought he said, I'll put you on the list. Didn't know anything about his show.
Yeah.
I got to the show and I was like, I'm on the list. They're like, no, it's a free show called Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I got like, well, that's weird. I thought I was on. And then it quickly dawned on me, oh, wait, they're pulling names out of a bucket and comedians are getting up and telling jokes. He didn't mean I'll put you on the list. He put me in that
bucket.
Freaking bucket.
Yeah.
And it was Dom Herrera and Bill Burr were the hosts.
This is a famous episode.
It's a famous episode. And it's mostly famous because I was on it. I mean, that is almost exclusively what people talk about.
Of course.
And Bill not enjoying it. He's like, so let me get this straight, Tony. You sit around and bag on open mic comics. That's your show. Yeah.
That's why it's the best episode.
Yeah. And
in 1 minute?
Tony.
1 minute?
Yeah.
What are you going to do in 1 minute?
Yeah.
And so Tony reached into the bucket and he looked at a piece of paper in that way somebody seeing the last name Regilio for the first time looks at the anyway. And I just started walking towards the stage. I had this sense.
Yeah.
I had a sense that it was going to be me.
Right.
And I don't think I knew this at the time, but when I watched the playback 100,000 times later, I realized that the music they brought me up to was Power of Love, theme song to Back to the Future, which is my jam. I love almost nothing as much as Back to the Future. It is my favorite movie ever.
Is that
times
right?
a trillion. Well, if you judge how much your favorite movie by how much you enjoy it. I enjoyed that movie at, as a young man more. I was into sci-fi, skateboards, and guitars. And then I went to see that movie, and I was like, okay, you made this for me.
Yeah.
Which is also what I thought when I saw Jojo Rabbit recently. I was like, I like Hitler and laughing. And so,
Imaginary friend.
yeah. So I jumped up. I did. By the way, I used to do bits and stories, and I still do, or I do again. But in that particular instance, I said, with 1 minute, I better just do some of the one-liners I've been working on. And I did them.
Right.
Every one of them hit hard. A lot of laughing. And Dom Herrera said to me, and I've basically memorized this, I might miss a word, but he said something like, I have to pay a compliment. It pains me to pay somebody this high of a compliment. No. Mitch Hedberg was a good friend of mine, and your writing really reminds me of Mitch. The way it goes one way, hits another. It's fucking great, man. Yeah. Brian Redband's like, what are you doing Friday night? Come do the Ice House. And just, that was it. Nice. I was like, okay. Wow. That was the first time in my life that I experienced that thing you'll hear about. I was walking on air. Sounds metaphorical, right? Yeah. No, it was getting off that stage. There were so many endorphins pumping through me at that moment as I was getting off stage and getting my first high fives and good sets. Like I'd never heard this from these East Side. And one of the East Side, one of the East Side douchebags that never laughs at me, that rolled his eyes at me for 2 years straight, was front and center in the front row. And he went up a little later and bombed. So it was sweet in a million ways.
Nice. Do you need a name drop right now, or do you want to skip?
No. He'll die in hell, or he'll burn in hell forever for what he did to me. His punishment is coming.
Good.
So that might get us into the show now that I've mentioned burning in hell. But there you go. Right. And so I stuck with it. I do like to write some absurdist one-liners, but I do bits and stories as well now. But for a minute there after that show, I was like, oh, maybe I'm a one-liner guy. And it wasn't until my first booking at the Improv that they gave me 10 minutes to open for this guy, Baron Vaughn. And I did 10 minutes of one-liners, went home and was bored within 4 minutes of listening to my own set. I was like, okay, 10 minutes of one-liners, too much. An hour, forget it. Put a gun in my mouth. I was like, all right. So I've gone back to just trying to be, an all-around utilitarian comic. You need some one-liners? I got those. You want a bit? Here's a bit. Story? I got a story. Here's a bucket of water over my head to boot. So,
You want some watermelon smashed?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
That's not my bit, but right. He stole it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
fucking
boy.
Gallagher.
Unbelievable, that man. That's fun. Yeah, no, there were a couple things you said. I mean, you obviously felt the Holy Spirit as you were walking up. You felt prompted that it was you.
Something. Yeah. Some spirit. It might not have been the Holy One. Yeah. It would have been one of those evil ones. I think there's only evil spirits in comedy, quite
Is that
frankly.
right?
Yeah, I suspect as much. I've never sensed anyone with any goodness in them on the scene. Have you? I don't sense it in you.
You don't?
No. Goodness? No,
none
the
whatsoever?
Mormon comic, you're trying to get out of this thing, man. You're like, just give me $1 million so I can get out of this whole Mormon thing.
Abdicating the whole thing. Yeah. Want to wash my hands of it. What kept you going for the 2 years?
Convenience. Really? I happen to live within walking distance of 3 open mics.
Nice.
Yeah.
And within a year, maybe even 8 months, 9 months, I lived around the corner, still live around the corner from a place called El Cid. Beautiful old theater, really lovely theater. And they would have an open mic there on Monday nights. And the guy who would run it was more of a musical kind of guy. And we knew all the same people. And I'd put on 1,000,001 rock shows. I knew how to promote. I knew how to do stuff, Yeah. And so we were talking. He was like, why don't you take over the night and make it a show? And so I called it Regilio Show.
Oh, that's
And what I did was I just booked comics. At that point, I acknowledged that I got a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do as a comic. I'm not even close. So I saw it as an opportunity to book people who were way better than me. And I could watch them work. I'd give them, 15, 20, and the headliner, if they wanted 40 minutes or whatnot, I would give it to them. And I had some bigger, I had some good names. I had Andy Kindler. I had, again, my friend Baron Vaughn. Yeah. I had Jimmy Dore, people that were working and doing well as guests. So I would just sit there and watch these comics work. And so that is also something that got me through, is that I had a show. And I just did a minute or two in between comics. I wasn't doing a set up front, anything like that. Gotcha. I was just hosting a show. Yeah. And I learned from the people who were so much better than me, just sitting there once a week watching good comic after good comic work the crowd, tell their jokes, So that's what got me through those first 2 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, with no laughs.
And then Kill Tony came.
Changed everything. Changed everything.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, if I ever make it, despite the fact that they gave me that first boost that gave me the confidence to try comedy, if I ever make it, and they asked me to be on the show, I wouldn't do it. No way. Just why not? Just to have people
guy?
go, why? you had your first good set here. I go, yeah, I don't know. Just don't want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be a good guest on that show, though.
Yeah. All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should.
I also swore I'd never roast, and I still have it.
Oh, really?
It really was because no one ever asked me to roast.
So
I just used to do a bit where I was like, I don't roast. And then actually Michael Lara, do you know him?
Oh,
he's
no, but that sounds familiar.
He has ALS. He's in a wheelchair.
Oh, yes.
And
he's now a regular on
He's a
Kill
regular
Tony.
on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
He's doing very well. Before
Yes,
he
he
was
is.
doing well, he challenged me to a roast, and I said yes, and I was going to roast him.
Oh,
and
boy.
then he started doing well, and I wasn't even good enough to roast anymore. Yeah. So that's over. That's off.
So you're
That's
not
off.
roasting
unless he
anymore.
wants. No, yeah.
He's pretty highly ranked, right?
I think so.
And the ranks of roasters, he's pretty up there.
Oh, Michael is.
He may have been. I don't know if he's on the ranks
Not
anymore.
anymore.
I don't know.
Oh,
if
no,
he's
he's on
still.
Kill Tony. Probably doesn't do it much anymore.
Anyway,
You have to actively do it to be on the rankings.
Well, I
No one's
like
ever
to
asked
say
me
that
either
roast
if I
battle is bum fights for open comics.
Yeah,
open mic
it's
comics.
the-
It's just again,
Don't
it's
like
it's
it.
like Kill Tony. It's the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
let's make
Yeah.
these desperate people look foolish.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
tell that guy he's ugly, and everyone knows it.
It's a different beast.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think-
I think I would have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Have you
think
ever done
would
it, Seth?
too. I did it once.
Who'd you roast?
Abraham Boche.
Oh, Abraham.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Was
was
he-
going through a stint of trying to
Was
roast
he
every
easy
month.
to roast.
I don't know. I mean, there's so much about it. I had been doing comedy for like 8 months at that
Oh,
point,
word.
if I remember right. So it was one of the worst experiences of my life.
Oh,
because
wow.
The roast battle did not go well. And I mean, I still won, but it was like not a victory that you're proud to claim,
Yeah.
Right.
you know?
I've seen a few of those where the judges are like, "Well, you were both terrible, and I lost
Yeah.
interest. But if I had to pick someone,
Yeah.
him."
Yeah, and that was it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like verbatim what Jeff Ross said.
Ah,
So, you know, it felt great.
So it was a good time. is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
But I think one skill that if I were to roast again that I would really try to develop is being the bad guy but likable.
Yeah.
I think that's what roast is all about.
Likable bad guy.
Yeah.
Huh.
At least that's the way I would try to take it, but I don't know.
That's what I just try and do in everyday life.
Yeah, right. You succeed. You're pretty
Yeah,
likable.
thank you.
You're a pretty likable guy.
And a pretty bad guy.
I don't think you're that bad. Despite your lack of religion, you seem like a good person,
Oh, all right. Thank you.
which I don't understand. But let's get into that.
Okay. All right.
So you grew up Catholic, right?
Very much so.
Yeah,
Very
Italian
much so.
Catholic.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in California?
No, I grew up. I was born actually in San Jose, but moved when I was 2. I spent up until age around 12 in the Chicagoland area, Downers Grove, Illinois, and then until age 27 in the Boston area, living in the suburbs through high school, and then going to college there in the city and sticking around for a number of years afterwards.
Gotcha. And then you came out here for music?
I came out here for music, but it's interesting. I did tell my friends that when we were moving here, I was like, I'm gonna diversify. I want to try acting, music, and stand-up comedy. Got out here, the band immediately started doing all right. I learned it's just such a different beast doing rock in LA than it was in Boston, that it was just so fun. There were so many parties and so many girls and so much fun. And suddenly we were getting record deals and demo deals and everything like that I never got around to the stand-up or the acting.
diversify.
So I finally got around to the stand-up, I guess roughly 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And still haven't tried the acting, although I'm pretty sure I would be good.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Pretty.
It might take you 2 years in a Kill Tony appearance,
Yeah,
but you'd get there. You'd get there for
That'd
sure.
be hilarious if they had a show like that where you just get up and you monologue for 1 minute and then actors judge you. That'd probably be like
That would be amazing.
or the worst thing ever.
Well. I mean, I enjoy watching people in pain a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, what, it's funny. I want to get back to the religious thing, but I did tell the guy that recently, and it was an open mic comic, and he gave me grief. I was like, the only thing I really enjoy on the open mic scene now is watching people eat a bag of shit. Like, I really, he's like, I think that's horrible. Everyone says that. I think that's horrible. I'm much more supportive. I was like, you're new to this, aren't you? Just give it a year. Yeah.
I mean, or
Nobody's
lying.
that nice.
You're lying to yourself.
or you're lying to
A
yourself.
solid bomb from a new open micer may be the highlight of any day.
Yeah.
When it really gets to them,
It
and they don't
depends.
know that it means nothing. No one out there actually cares, and that if I run into you in 10 minutes, I probably won't even remember that you were the guy that bombed. But you can see them up there going, "That's it. I'm ruined forever.
My favorite thing to watch is
No one-
the attractive, younger, good-looking actor who's just giving it a go for the first time. It starts with this incredible confidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you watch them just lose all semblance of who they are
Yeah.
in just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a guy just like 2 months ago. It's an open mic, young guy, actor with his teeth polished and whatnot.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
You know those actor teeth.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
crazy.
Those shiny
And he
ass.
gets up and he literally
Unbelievable.
started like this. And this must have gone over gangbusters at the actors workshop. And so he thought he'd try it with the
hardened comics.
With the comics. And he gets up and he goes, "Start with a little good news. Let's hear it for me. I just signed with a big new agency." He said that.
Wow.
Dead fucking silence. And he's like, "You guys don't like actors?" And I just went, "Tell a joke. Tell a fucking joke, dude. Nobody's going to applaud your fucking your success." Yeah.
And no, we don't like
Yeah,
actors
no, we don't like
doing
actors.
this. Was
Yeah.
this at a fourth wall?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
is
name
right.
drop the club, but yeah.
Well, you know,
Fourth
I'm all
wall.
about
All roads lead to the fourth wall
They
with
do.
us.
Yeah.
With
They
us,
do
folk.
indeed.
Yeah.
Man, it's a nice spot though.
Yeah, it's a great spot. We're in
got
the
its-
club. We're in the club.
It's got its positives.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, Catholic.
Grew up
so,
Catholic.
Well, you said Italian Catholic. My dad was insane. My dad was an Opus Dei. Do you know what that is?
kind of.
I
but
mean,
be specific.
okay,
'cause
well,
I'm
the
not sure. I have a
Opus-
vague idea.
They want it's the strictest version of Catholicism. They
Oh, okay.
still say their masses in Latin.
Oh,
Yeah. They
Gotcha.
still
Yep.
yeah. And the bad guy in Da Vinci Code was an Opus Dei, like the super monk that like wore the hair shirt.
The
and-
self-flagellation.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that they're into that. That might have been made up for the book. But my dad,
Right.
he was, an on again, off again member. And my mom was German Irish Catholic, and she's the one who really, my dad.
Yeah.
He just wasn't engaging with his 6 children at all on any level, and my mother was the one who just was beating Catholicism into us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he just busy with work? Is that why? Or was it
No,
just his
just,
demeanor?
My parents ended up having a terrible marriage and one of the worst divorces ever. I think he was just over it
there you
by the
go.
time I was conscious
like,
and
whatever.
aware of him. Like he just,
He's planning his exit strategy a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
But yeah, but it was stringent. I was altar boy.
Yeah.
My great uncle, my mother's uncle, was a monsignor in the church, which is a position that doesn't exist anymore, but it's higher than priest and lower than bishop, I believe. And so I did my first communion with him and my first confession with him,
Yeah.
and did the whole Catholic thing, and
So you were in.
I was in hook, line,
Yeah.
and sinker, and
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
a late convert to. No, well, maybe not that late. I maybe of the average age out of religion, but I was 27 years old, staring at the ceiling
Yeah.
in my room in Boston, in my apartment in Boston.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're not up there, are you?"
Wow.
Staring at the ceiling. It was like out of a.
What led to that moment for you?
Doubt that started. It's funny that it really was. I remember seeing Monty Python's The Meaning of Life.
Oh, sure.
And there's the scene in the Catholic Church where they're like, "Oh, Lord, you are so great. We're all really impressed with you down here. I sure can tell you." Yeah. And then I went to church that Sunday and I went, "Oh my God, that is what we're doing. We just come in here, we kiss God's ass."
Yeah.
And I remember telling my dad goes, "That's why I didn't want you watching that Monty Python crap." And then my dad thought he could get me off of Monty Python, but actually, by the way, by
With
saying
the
this to
Three
me.
Stooges or what?
No.
what'd
Well,
he say?
with this little info drop, he said,
Okay.
he goes, "Son, I didn't want to have to tell you this, but when they first came on the TV, I also liked Monty Python. And then I found out they're all homosexuals." I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care that they're all
That's
homosexuals.
so
And for a bunch
funny.
of homosexuals, they put a lot of boobs in the
Yes,
show,
they
which
do.
brought me back week
Yes,
after
they
week.
do.
So that was the beginning. And I
Yeah.
said to myself, that was around age 16, 17, I imagine. And I said to myself, okay, I'm not a Catholic because they're a bunch of ass kissers kissing God's ass.
Yeah.
But I believe if you were to ask me what my belief system is, it's almost identical to what the Catholics believe, but I'm just not part of the organized religion.
Yeah.
And that was the first little step out where I'm like, I still
Yeah.
believe all this stuff, but I'm not in your club anymore because
Yeah.
you guys are kissing God's ass and he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
And so I, to be honest with you, I really don't I don't think there was any one thing. I would think it was
Yeah.
a 10-year slow, questioning. And you fall out of religion when you move out of your parents' house, and so there's no
some
more
do,
going
I
to
guess.
church.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, some do.
Hey, it was interesting though. My parents were as strict as they were. They sensed something was going on because like the last year of my life, they just stopped waking me up for church.
You mean most recent? While you were
Oh
there.
no, the last year of
like, wait,
yeah,
what
last
life?
year of my-
What are we talking about right now?
You're right. Sorry, the last year of my life in my
With
parents'
them.
house with
Yeah.
them at age 18, senior in high school. Just one day, I just
Yeah.
woke up and everyone had gone to church, and I just
Yeah.
was like, I guess I don't have to go anymore. Or they just
Oh.
had decided I
They
was
just
going to
left.
hell or something.
Yeah.
They actually did think I was gay, which is
you like Monty Python. So.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the
All those
school the
homosexuals.
school told my parents I was gay. The
Really?
psychologist told
No
my
kidding.
parents.
Was it a Catholic school?
No, this was a public school.
Jesus Christ.
And I didn't know anything about this. Boy,
A male psychologist or
a
a
male
female?
psychologist. But this is years afterwards. So I'm out of high school at this point,
Okay.
and I'm going to Berklee College of Music, which was in the city. So it's 15, 20-minute bus ride back to my parents' house for groceries and laundry and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I go back and I'm sitting up late night with my mom one night talking. And I said, remember when they were trying to send me to that psychologist? The school said that I had dirty thoughts. That's what they told me. They said it was
No
for
kidding.
dirty thoughts. To which I was
public school?
17-year-old boy. And I was like, nailed it. Yeah. Wow. What are you, mind readers?
This is astounding.
And my mom starts crying, and she's like, "It wasn't dirty thoughts." It wasn't
Yeah.
dirty." I'm like, "Well, what did they say?" She said they said something else. I said, "What?" And
Yeah.
I had to drag it out of her, and I didn't even drag it out of her.
Yeah.
I just read her face. I said, "What did they say? I was gay?" They said I was gay. I can see it in your face. They said I was gay. And it turns out that the school psychologist, the guidance counselor, Ms. Allen, was
Okay.
no joke. Just being, as an adult looking back now, I can say this. She was a lesbian. So she had some beef with me and the school psychologist, who had an office in the basement of a public high school. So this guy graduated top of his
tier.
class, top tier psychologist.
He just wanted to
Dr.
get back.
M, we'll just call him.
Dr. M.
Was he a doctor?
He was, we had to call him doctor.
Because you don't have to be a doctor to be a school
No, you
psychologist.
don't.
You
That's
know,
true.
yeah. Well, his name was Dr.
You
M.
just have a 4-year degree in almost anything, and you can be a school
A psychologist. Oh my
yeah.
god! And I mean, if you guys saw the
counselor is another way to say it.
1960s
Yeah.
polyester suit this guy was wearing, you could see that he probably barely graduated with a bachelor's degree.
Yeah. From
And
DeVry.
so, and my mom said that they told her, my mom and my dad, they told them that I was gay.
Okay.
Of course.
And
Nailed it.
that one of my friends was gay and had admitted it to the school. Because you know how when a kid's 16 years old, he's like, I think I'm gay. I better tell the principal. That never happened. But I did
That's
have
what
a
I
friend
did.
who wore a dress and had green dreadlocks and a nose ring and whatnot
interesting.
because he was punk. And
Yeah.
But so I think, who knows? But yeah. Wow. And I was like, oh, I'm going into that school tomorrow morning. I'm going to wreck some shit because my life fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't know why. Last year of my life, why do I keep calling it? I don't know. The last
makes
year of
so
my life with my
ominous.
parents. That
Yeah.
the last year at home. The
Yeah.
last year at home
Yeah,
really sucked. I mean, it's funny because my mom. This is going to be very profane, but I thought it would every time I'd come home, my mom would be like, "Let me smell your breath." I thought it was for alcohol. I think it might have been for penis, but. My parents were so horrible to me that last year, so
Interesting.
angry at me all the time.
Yeah.
And it was because these fucking people told them that I was gay, my Catholic parents, and that they just. And here's the thing. My mom told me that he said this psychologist, top tier psychologist, told my mom that it was her fault. She made me gay by being an overbearing mother.
Wow.
Right.
So I don't know what 1920 psychology
Jeez.
book he stole out of the prison library where he was serving time as a pedophile. He got this information from. As you can see, I've
Interesting.
stewed on this for a little time.
Well.
So I was like, I'm going into that school tomorrow. I'm going to fuck some shit up. I'm walking into that psychologist's office. I'm walking into that guidance counselor's office. And I'm walking into that English teacher's office for another reason you don't even know about. And
Are these all dudes?
yeah. No.
okay.
The guidance counselor was a lesbian,
Yeah.
which implies woman.
Oh, right,
And,
right.
or at least it used to.
I forgot
folks.
you
Nowadays,
listed-
I know,
don't
don't you know.
assume a lesbian's a woman.
No.
How dare we?
And my mom was like, please, your little brother's still in the school. You're going to make it tough for him. You've already got it so tough for him. My brother used to tell me all the time, the teachers would be like, Regilio?
Yeah.
Michael Regilio's brother. Oh boy, and he's like, I'm not like him. I swear to God, I'm not like him.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and my mom begged me not to do it. So my brother had like 2 years left at that high school, and after that, the fire had gone out of my belly, and they all got a pass.
Oh boy.
Until this pod drops.
And now you're gonna go back.
Well, I just think that the kids, there's probably a large audience of Marblehead High School students
Yeah,
who
I'm
listen
sure.
to this podcast. They're
We'll
going to hear
tag
it,
it.
and they're going to, kids, go easy on them. But yeah, give them a little grief. Give them a little grief
gosh.
when you walk into their office. They're probably, most of the people I'm talking about are probably dead.
Hey, take
hope
solace in
so.
that.
Yeah, if the guys that I paid did their job correctly, they are.
Right. They are long gone.
So yeah,
No
so
one will
very
find
Catholic, very
Yeah.
gay.
yeah. I got that
And-
vibe from you.
Yeah,
But.
and then I lost my religion.
Yeah. Well, you said doubt, but doubt about what is what I'm curious about. Was there any like specific?
You know, I've given it so much thought now. I learned to, or I very much enjoy the writings of Christopher Hitchens, Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, all these guys. You know, what was this, 12 years ago when there was that movement? There was a big
Right.
moment for atheism. And I read the books, and it really gave me an opportunity to clarify why I didn't believe. And it asked the right questions that I had to try and either answer, or if I wasn't able to answer, I'd identify that doubt.
Yeah.
But when I was 27, I honestly can't remember why it was, just
Sort of-
no way.
Yeah.
No way. I think it was
Interesting.
just a no way. It was just that. Come on.
Yeah.
Give me a break. No
Yeah.
way.
This can't be.
This is nonsense.
Huh.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was an altar boy, like I said.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. You were
If
in.
I can give you one little aside that, interestingly enough, the priests at my church.
Yeah.
And this is so telling.
Yeah.
They were both gay gentlemen.
Yeah.
Which meant that they were totally normal and totally great with us. And they didn't molest anybody because they had normal sexual output.
Wow.
And they, that they weren't repressed in any way.
Yeah.
I'm not that, maybe, not letting priests have sex. I think that did.
It's got to mess with. Some
It
people.
messes with some
Yeah.
people. I think maybe there's something about the church that also appealed to pedophiles and things like that. So I won't say that it was
Right.
that policy.
They relocate you.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
there
real
was definitely
convenient.
something,
There's a
but
retirement
Norm-
program.
But in this small town Marblehead, which had such a problem with me being gay when I wasn't
Right.
even gay. I wish I was gay, by the way. What a life.
Oh, yeah.
What a life. Jesus Christ. I'm going to
You
fight
could've
with my
been a priest.
girlfriend as we speak. I wish
Oh,
I was
no.
just banging my best friend every
Yeah.
night. But so these two priests, Father Gary and Father Conroy, I guess I'll drop their names. They're probably both dead, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
It turned out that they had been, and I knew them well. I was an altar
Yeah.
boy, and they were great
Yeah.
guys. They threw us pizza parties. They took us to amusement parks. So they were just all around swell fellows.
Yeah.
And well, it turned out not only that they were gay, but they had been together since seminary. And these guys were in
Wow.
their late 60s. They'd
Yeah.
been together years and years. Well, the town just about had a witch hunt over
Oh,
this. I remember
geez.
my parents having a meeting in their kitchen and some woman going, I can't stand sitting in that church week after week looking up there at those queens. Couple of queens.
Yeah.
Get me a child molester up there. Come
Wow.
on, please. A normal
Yeah,
priest.
just-
What's with these queens? And
Unreal.
and they broke them and they forced them to break
Ouch.
up and they sent
No.
one to
Yeah.
like gay
Yeah.
Catholic rehab, which my parents
Okay.
tried to send me to, by the way.
Well, 'cause that's what you were.
But I wouldn't go. And they said like they threw one out of the priesthood and sent the other one to like gay Catholic rehab. Because so two men that had love
Interesting.
and had known love their entire lives and
Yeah.
in love, the Catholic Church was like, nope, no love, no happiness.
Yeah.
When
Not
my
the
parents
right
tried
way.
to send
Yeah.
me, speaking of that, last year of my life,
Yeah.
when I died at age 18, and I've just been a ghost ever since.
Your religious
folks.
self
Yeah.
passed away.
But my parents, they told me I was going to rehab. They did. They said
yeah.
you were going to rehab, and I thought they meant drug rehab, which
Yeah.
again made perfect sense. Just like when
Sure.
the school told me I was having dirty thoughts, I was like,
Okay.
yeah, okay, you guys, you're clued in. You're
Yeah.
good. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. You're good. But no, it turned out it was gay Catholic rehab. But I didn't know that. I thought it was drug
Right.
rehab, and I didn't want to
Right.
go. And my girlfriend's parents were out of town at the time. By the way, they wanted to
You
send
had
me
a
I had a
girlfriend.
girlfriend. Well, she was
What
kind
is
of a
going on
secret
here?
girlfriend. She was kind of a secret
Oh.
girlfriend. I didn't get along so hot with my parents, so I
'Cause
didn't
she
really
was a
tell them I had a
man.
girl. So I went and stayed with her,
Yeah.
and I was literally having sex
Yeah.
with a beautiful woman
Yeah.
with a big rack.
Nice.
And when I say big, I mean big.
It's so-
Seth,
it
a
has to
year
be.
later, she had breast reduction surgery. So when I say
Unbelievable.
big, I'm not just, thank you. So I'm making love to a woman,
Yes.
a beautiful woman. While
you thought she
I'm
was a
across
woman.
town,
Yeah.
I'm making love to a beautiful woman. And
Yeah.
across the other side of town, my parents are fuming that I won't go to gay Catholic rehab.
Why don't you just
A
take
little
picture?
communication, I think, would have,
Walk
yeah.
back- Yeah.
Show them the cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez. You got a woman way over town? You can't
Yeah.
tell them.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. She was very wealthy.
Yeah,
Her
of
parents
course.
were very wealthy. I messed that one up. If I just married her.
If you'd just gone to gay rehab.
If I just, well, that was my joke. I was like, I don't know what would turn a person gay, but I'm pretty sure gay Catholic rehab would have turned me gay. I don't know that you could turn a straight guy gay, but if you can, gay Catholic rehab will do it. Yeah.
Sounds
So,
good. Sounds
yeah.
like paradise.
But
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
so then, like I said,
Yeah.
just got into the atheist thing and was a bit of a firebrand for a minute there.
Like hated on religious people.
Yeah, I think I probably did, and
Yeah.
it just wears on you. Anger
The
and
hatred.
hate. It's
Yeah.
just, it's
I had a couple
what's the old?
years there.
Yeah, did
where I
you?
was pretty militant
Yeah.
about it. I mean, especially if you come from religion, and then as soon as it's gone, you're like, you're all fucking sheep, man.
Yeah.
And you can't get over it, and then eventually you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tired.
don't
Well,
wanna
it's
do
it's
this.
the,
'cause you don't
the
have
zeal
the-
of the converted or something. That's what we were as atheists.
Yeah.
We're converted to atheism, so we
Yeah.
had that extra zeal. There's an old expression, I can't remember who said it, so I'll just say Mark Twain.
Okay.
And which is like, anger is an acid that does more damage to the vessel it is in which it is stored than it does onto anything to which it is poured, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Ooh,
Which saying that the anger you
That's
carry,
a
you
hot
want to
rhyme as
explain,
well.
you want to explode your anger all
Yeah.
over someone, thinking that you're going to do them this damage. But the reality is, you're carrying
dying.
the anger
Yeah.
is doing more damage to you than it'll ever do to them.
I'll tell you, that sounds more like Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
than a Samuel Clemens
Yeah.
quote.
Well, like I said, I don't know who said it, so I
Fair
just
enough.
thought I would
Attribute it to
I'd
Mark
give it to
Twain.
Twain.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, and that's
Yeah.
true with militant atheism, and
I'll tell you why you guys got tired with your hatred
Yeah.
in the atheism faith.
Yeah,
Please.
Because you did not have the zeal of God behind your hatred.
no.
That's really what it
yeah.
was.
He'll fuel it.
He fuels
You
it
want to hate
hardcore.
gay people? God will keep you at that engine
keeps it
going,
going.
forever.
That's right.
That's
That's
fun
right.
fact. You were actually correct. It was Mark Twain.
No
Was it?
kidding.
I hate.
Wow.
Hey,
Look at
hey,
you.
What's the exact quote? What's
That's
the exact
amazing.
The exact quote.
Because I know I didn't
is,
get that wrong.
Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything in which it is poured. So you fucking
look at that. You
Whoa,
nailed it.
Holy guaca.
that's amazing.
That's my second applause break
Wow.
in
Well
life.
done. Yeah. I mean,
I
first
haven't
kill
gotten one in
Tony.
comedy. Yeah, no applause breaks. No applause breaks.
Unreal. Interesting. All right. So then what? So you got tired of hating religious people.
Yeah, and then I decided I'd go ahead and love them again.
Yeah. Wow. Good
And
for you.
just open my heart to everyone.
Yeah.
To quite honest with you,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
a debate show, Dogma Debate with David
Yeah.
Smalley.
And
where
this
I
is a
debate
new
both-
addition for you?
Yeah, I
That's
had
so
a debate
fun.
show which started at the Fourth Wall called
Right.
Incompatible with Kat, where we debate mysticism more than
Yeah.
religion.
Are you
Yeah.
guys done now?
Yeah,
No more?
yeah. We've put the I'll tell you off air how that one went.
Yeah.
down.
Fair enough.
Wow, that
You
one.
told me a bit of the story, and I was like,
yeah,
I want to hear more.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you know more.
And
Name itself is beautiful.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Incompatible God podcast ended because it turns out we couldn't get along.
Unbelievable.
And, who saw that coming? And
Yeah.
Started
Yeah,
off so friendly.
It is a
But-
fun show, though. I mean, it's a fun podcast. Go back and listen to
Yeah.
it. I assume it's still airing somewhere.
I think
right?
it probably is. You know what? When
But-
it ended, I said I'm never going to have anything to do with it ever again.
So you
and
don't
I
know.
never even looked.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Fair
If you
enough.
listen to the first couple episodes, I'm there, and
Yeah.
then the production value ups exponentially.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm not there.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. Interesting. Yeah.
And so I've been debating both conservatives
Yeah.
and religious on the show.
Yeah.
And I found that I got nothing but love, baby. I
That's
got nothing
amazing.
but love. I just want to
Yeah.
love everybody. I want everyone
Yeah.
to get along. And when I debate anyone,
Yeah.
it's always with love in my heart. And I think they get that.
Yeah.
I feel like they get that. In fact, the
hopefully.
people, I debated a Trump supporter 2 weeks ago for like 4.5 hours. He's
Right.
reached out to me. We're still friends
Oh,
on
that's
the
great.
socials.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
just debated this guy who had 8 reasons why atheism's bad for society.
Yeah.
To which I scored him 0 points.
Yeah.
He really had no reasons why
Interesting.
atheism was bad. He just was able to list 8 bad atheists. That's all it was. He's like,
yeah.
8 reasons atheism's bad. Stalin! Like, okay, that's
I mean,
yeah.
That is
that's a slam dunk
Yeah,
as
of
far as
course,
I'm
yeah.
concerned.
And but
Yeah.
again, and nothing but love for that gentleman as well. And
Yeah.
he reached out to me on social media and said he had a good time. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling like I'm doing a pretty
I
good
think
job
you are.
of being a loving atheist.
Yeah. Good. So what do you believe now? Do you believe really nothing? Or do you believe in something?
Well, I mean, the simplest answer is that you believe and other people believe,
Sure.
and they make a claim. They say, well, I believe in the Mormon God, or I believe in the
Yeah.
Christian God, or,
Yeah.
and I say, well, you've not shown me any evidence to meet the burden of proof that comes with the claim.
Right.
And I just kind of leave it at that. What do I actually believe? I mean, it's impossible to know that, to say, oh, well, there couldn't be an intelligence behind the universe. That would be a silly thing to say because you couldn't possibly know that. So if there is, it's not the God of the Bible. I mean, that is I feel like you could prove that wrong. The God of the Bible. I feel like they've made they've attributed that God with enough attributes. They've said he's done enough things that you could test, that you could probably, if you had to, really put your.
You mean taking the Bible literally?
Taking the Bible literally and saying this God exists. This God that does these things.
Yeah.
Has
the
done
parting
these
of the Red
things,
Sea.
Has done these things, does these things, has these physical or personality style attributes or something like that. Those are things that you could say, well, then now you've put it into the realm of the physical world or into the real world, into reality, where then we could test for that. And I don't think it would come out very well. But if you said, it feels like there's a design, it feels like it's got to be for a reason. It feels, and which is, you're reverse engineering the entire universe by doing that. You are the product of evolution who evolved on this rock for this rock to be perfect for you, is because you evolved on the rock
in the system.
So of course it's perfect because you filled in every nook and cranny. It didn't come to you. But if you say, I feel like there's got to be an intelligence or something like that, well, how would I have any way of knowing that there's not? But it would, in my opinion, it would be something more along the lines of a super advanced society running a simulation in a supercomputer. That makes more sense to
Matrix.
Me. Yeah, that makes way more sense to me, that maybe there's some alien race and they've created an incredible supercomputer and they're running a simulation and we're in it.
Yeah.
And we are a product of it. And right now they're watching us and they're going, hey, they're talking about us again. The smart one's talking about us again. Thank you again, Zordak. I appreciate you.
By the way, I only think the Matrix theory is bullshit because we only produce enough energy, as much energy as a little bit less than a 9-volt battery. Yeah. So we'd be a really shitty battery.
No. I'm not saying Matrix.
I know.
I'm just saying
when you said Matrix, I was like, that's the only reason why I'm like, maybe.
But no. I mean, maybe there is an intelligence out there. Maybe there's a reason for all this. And if you want to believe that, you're doing it without any evidence, but I have no evidence to the contrary. So, and how is it really going to affect your life? Is it going to get in your way to say, I feel that there's a reason? Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it might very well affect your life for the positive. You know? Because sometimes when life is hard and you get some rejection as an atheist or somebody that really doesn't believe in any higher power, I say, well, that's just the way it goes. Man. Fuck it. And somebody else might say, this was meant to be. I was supposed to have this rejection because something greater is waiting for me on this. And they're going to sleep a little better. They're going to sleep a little better that night than I am, where I just go,
so do you find it comforting, sort of, it might just be for nothing, all of this?
What do you mean when you say for nothing? That's an interesting thing. I believe I only have one life and that this is it. And I better enjoy it. I better get everything out of it. You think that the movie goes on forever, that when you're done with this, you get another one, and you think you get a planet. So you might not try and squeeze it all in.
But if it's going to be made up, why not go big? Right? Why not go the whole way?
So you get your own galaxy. Do you get more wives as well?
I don't know. I think that's up in the air.
You might rope me in with that.
We could.
Well, look into it. You might have a convert. But I feel like I enjoy my life more because I know that it's going to end,
Interesting.
So when you say it's all for nothing, that's a very confusing statement,
I guess
because I think it's all for everything. It's all for everything.
Just for this, though.
This life. This is it. Yeah. So you better get it all in. You better love it, and I don't mean party and have a good time. I mean actually
make good around you and leave positivity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the way I feel about it. I heard an analogy not long ago, and somebody's like, what's the point if just at the end of it, it's all over? Which you kind of hinted at a little bit.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody said, like, well, do you own a car? It's ultimately going to end up in a junkyard and not run anymore. So what's the point of driving it around right now?
Well, because you need it now.
Right. Exactly. Well, I need this life right now. And there's probably a time when I won't need it.
But there are people that live their lives very differently.
Yeah.
Not everybody lives their life the same way.
Of course.
So I guess that's the thing.
Well, I saw
you know what I mean?
I saw
don't know if that makes sense.
Documentary one time on Santa Ana, Saint Ana of Lima, Peru. Do you know anything about her?
I mean, she was a ship.
Oh, well.
No,
The Santa Ana.
You
You thinking of the Nina, the Santa?
Yeah.
Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa
Columbus.
Maria. Yeah.
Don't bring up Christopher Columbus with me. I'm woke, buddy. I'll fucking walk
boy.
you bring that genocidal piece of shit up.
What do you mean? Okay.
Santa Ana, she is a saint, and they told her story, and in order to know humility, she crawled everywhere on her knees, and by the end of her life, she her knees were completely worn out and destroyed because she crawled everywhere. In order to know the pain of Christ, she wore a crown of thorns everywhere we go, and they have her skull in a church in Lima, Peru, where they can see the marks in the bone that this crown of thorn she wore everywhere. In order for her to not be prideful, she wiped lye on her face, which is basically crystal Drano, to melt her face off. And to which, and they were like, "Oh, she was such a wonderful saint. You know, she dedicated her life to God." I'm like, she wasted her one life. She had one fucking life, and she rubbed lye on her face and put on a crown of thorns. By the way, you don't know Jesus' pain because he wore the crown of thorns for like an afternoon. You wore it for 30 years, you dumb. I'm not going to call her a name. I called her dumb, but I'm going to hold back on calling a canonized but you don't
Catholic
saint. I mean,
her
dumb.
example, though, living on and bringing positivity to other people.
Did it? What, other than people laughing and going, look at that crazy woman with a crown of thorns.
Which is a form of joy, but others saying, oh, I appreciate the sacrifice.
But what did she sacrifice other than her own
life?
Right. For what?
To understand Christ better. I mean, if that helps
is
her
that what
be,
Jesus wanted from her, though? He's like, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice my life for you. And what you could do for me is actually sacrifice your life then. And then everyone, like, how
everyone
does that
could
work?
do that.
Everyone will have a good time. Everyone just, let's all be miserable forever. Please, for me.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have, had he been a real person, I don't think he would have agreed with that. There's a woman, God, Sister Helen something. I follow her on Twitter. She is one of the best advocates out there. In fact, I think the movie Dead Men Walking was about her. She's a real advocate for doing away with the death penalty. And I follow her and I read her writings, and I think she's real. She sounds like she's really doing something for her religion. And dedicating her life to something that I think is beneficial in a much better way than putting lye on your face and wearing a crown of thorns. You know?
No, I agree. There's a good way to do religion, and there's a bad way.
I mean, but a lot of the saints, though, it sounds like Martin Luther used to sleep on a wooden bed with no sheets. He would go out in the cold for days on end with no clothes on. You know, he would all sorts of and the hair shirt that the saints used to wear. What's with torturing her? You think God died on the cross for your sins? Not for this. Like, go to the beach. He did it so you could go to the beach.
I mean, kind of. You know, there is, I think, some value in feeling remorse for bad things that you've done. So that you improve on your behavior the next time around.
But wouldn't you say, I mean, this is, again, coming from the Catholic tradition. But Catholics believe that if I wrong you, I can go to a third party that you don't even know, and he'll forgive me for what I did to you. But I don't even need to bring you into it.
But isn't there an element of reparations with the harmed party? It's not just all admitting wrong.
Well, I mean, that could be true. But I mean, if you go with actual, all right, let's get away from Catholic doctrine for a moment and get into what the evangelicals who run this country actually believe. They think that you can rape, pillage, murder, do anything you want. You can be the worst guy ever, but as long as you come to Christ in the end, all is forgiven and you get a ticket to happy time. Whereas somebody could live their entire life doing good. And not ever come to Christ and say, I don't believe in Jesus, and he's going to hell. The rapist and Hitler, if they on their deathbed say, you know what, all right, I accept Jesus as my savior, they believe they're going to heaven for doing that.
Maybe some, but I don't think that's really part of their doctrine. That deathbed repentance is a ticket to heaven.
You know, but I mean, if the evangelical churches are full of people who were sinners and came to Christ, and they are convinced they're going to heaven. You know? And I would challenge just about anyone to go into at least a hardcore evangelical church and say, I've dedicated my life to feeding the homeless and working.
But I don't accept Christ.
But I don't accept Christ at all. Where am I going? And I bet you every one of them goes, you're going straight to hell there, buddy boy. So I mean, it seems like a little bit of a bad, like when you talk about
well, and I don't
feeling shame for the things you've done wrong. I do feel shame for the things I've done
as
wrong.
well. You should,
damn straight. And I ask the people that I've wronged for forgiveness, and I try and make up with them, which is the better way to go.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Beautiful. Well, we're about out of time. I think we're running up. on it.
That was
getting there.
That was fast and
very
fun.
fast.
Fast and fun.
I want to have you back eventually.
I'd love to come back. Yeah, please.
But I'm starting a new segment with this new season in 2020 of giving the guest a chance to ask something about Mormonism. If there's anything that you have a gripe with, a confusion about, or just want to know. And I missed it last episode with Alex Kahn.
Kahn's episode was running long.
We got super sidetracked. But I messaged him, and so you get sort of the idea. He messaged me back and said that he was curious, one, about polygamy, but then he said he was joking, which was really unfortunate because I'd love talking about polygamy. But he messaged back about garments, the holy underwear. Yes. As it is disparagingly referred to sometimes. So the answer regarding the garments is it's a physical representation of covenants we make in the temple. So there you go.
There's nothing wrong with
There's a lot of holy garb out there.
I was going to say, there's nothing wrong with that. There's many physical
every
representations.
Religion's got a hat.
Yeah. I was Catholic, and they dress really weird.
So nice.
Really
very,
weird.
And you guys
very
have to carry
classy.
around beads, you know? Some weird thing.
The rosary.
I got no issue with their temple garments. Isn't that what they're called? Yeah,
right.
I have no issue with them whatsoever.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, as Seth, may I tell your listeners that we're having you on Dogma Debate to do a deep dive on Mormonism.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna
if
be
they
fun.
enjoyed this episode, please come to Dogma Debate in the near future, where Seth Lawrence will be a guest on my show, and we will deep dive into the Mormon thing. Yeah, it's going to be real fun.
Michael Regilio and David Smalley, and it's a great podcast to listen to.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very fun. So have you thought of a question or
for
an
Mormonism?
item?
Jeepers creepers. I mean, I read Under the Banner of Heaven, which I would recommend to any of your listeners. It's John Krakauer's book where he tells the story of Joseph Smith.
Alongside
these
misguided teens.
Two serial killers. It's an interesting, two Mormon serial killers.
I look a lot
80s,
like them.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of questions about Mormonism, but I don't have one prepared for you. I feel like I want to save it.
Save it for Dogma Debates.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Regilio, I've offered it to him, and he's taken a pass here today. But join us on Dogma Debates. That's going to happen in a few weeks, months.
Yeah,
who knows?
weeks. David just wants to read a book about Mormonism before he
I
rakes
suggested
across the
Book of Mormon.
Yeah, book, that'd be a good one.
That should be what
you
he
mean.
means.
The playbook that comes when you go to the
the playbill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do you got coming up? Any plugs you want to put in? I'll have.
We got the show, Dogma Debate, and then Dave and I host a monthly show at the Comedy Store called The Smalley Show.
He had some great hitters when I attended.
Yeah, it was
Sam
a good
Tripoli.
time. And
Jamie Kennedy was there, right?
Yeah, we had a good bill. We have a lot of fun, and I suppose that's it. I have a set that is going to be hitting Sirius XM in the next month or so. Yeah,
good for you.
That's about it.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well,
thanks for having me.
I'll put your handle in the show notes, so they'll know where to find you on the
Please
gram.
Do.
And
thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this.
All right.
Yeah, Travis, anything you got coming up?
Depending on when this airs, but mainly my 30th birthday, March 21st, 10 o'clock, doing a birthday show at the Fourth Wall Cafe.
Whoop, whoop.
Gonna do 30 minutes because it's the only way you can get 30 minutes in this fucking city is if you turn 30. So.
Well, and book it yourself.
And book it myself. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
As a birthday present to me.
Excellent. Well, come on out to that. That'll be fun. All right. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week. Bye.